It looked like Caitlin Clark has reacted to Temi Fagbenle being traded to the Golden State Valkyries in the WNBA expansion draft.
Did you see the WNBA bombshell that just dropped? Temi Fagbenle of the Indiana Fever is headed to Golden State in a shocking expansion draft move. Now, Caitlin Clark's breaking her silence on Temi's departure. Her words are sending shockwaves through the league. What's going on with the Fever? Is this a game-changing moment for Indiana basketball?
I am genuinely shocked. And I mean that. Genuinely shocked that Temi Fagbenle was not protected by the Indiana Fever.
After a 5-year hiatus,
Fagbenle, who played for the Minnesota Lynx from 2017 to 2019, returned to the WNBA in 2024
rejoined
with
the
the Indiana
WNBA
Fever
in
after a 5-year break. She made an immediate impact, posting the best season of her career with averages of 6.4 points, 4.7 rebounds, and an impressive 50.9% shooting across 22 games.
50.9% shooting percentage in 22 games.
But just trying to keep this high energy for myself as well as my team.
Her highlight came during the Fever's first win of the season against the LA Sparks, where she delivered a career-high 17 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. Everything seemed to be falling into place for Fagbenie until the WNBA expansion draft shook things up. With the addition of a new team, the Golden State Valkyries, roster changes became inevitable, leaving Fagbeni's future with the Fever in doubt.
On Fagbenle's future, everything appeared to be going according to plan.
Picture this. It's draft day in the WNBA, and everyone's on the edge of their seats.
On the edge of their
the Indiana Fever just snagged Caitlin Clark, the hottest prospect in years. They've got a young superstar, a solid core, and Temi Fagbenle anchoring their defense. Things are looking up, right? But wait, Temi Fagbenle's name is called by the Golden State Valkyries.
But hold on, Temi Fag. When the Golden State Valkyries call Ben's name.
The Golden State Valkyries select center Temi Fagbenle.
The Fever just let their defensive powerhouse walk away. Fans are losing their minds.
Fans are
flooding
losing their
social
minds
media with
and
disbelief.
Expressing their horror on social media when the Fever simply allowed their defensive powerhouse to walk away.
Because Temi is, and I mean that, she was their best defender. She was a runner. Teams stopped going for offensive rebounds because they were scared of Temi Fagbenle at rim
general
running
manager
defenders.
Let's now take you into the war room
of her career. On one
There's
side is
lot
Temi
of stress.
Fagbenle,
The
a fan
team's
favorite,
general manager,
a locker room
Kelly
leader,
Krossoff,
and the backbone
must
of the
make the
Fever's
hardest
defense.
choice of her
On
career.
the other side is
On
the
the one
harsh
hand,
reality of the
there is
salary
Temi
cap. The
Fagbenle,
Fever have
a
already
fan
invested
favorite,
heavily in
a
other
leader
key
in the locker
players
room,
like Sato
and the
Sabali
mainstay
and other
of the
standout
Fever's
free
defense.
agents, leaving tough
On the other
decisions on
hand,
the horizon.
there is the harsh reality of the salary cap. The Fever has already made significant investments in other important players, such as Sato Sabali and other exceptional free agents, so difficult choices are still ahead.
Like, there are teams that will have quote-unquote untradeable contracts, and by getting rid of Temi, it probably allows you to take on one of them who's a player that's better than Temi. The problem with Temi is you're probably going to have to pay her like she's a starter.
Krossoff huddles with her team. They're crunching numbers, trying to find a way to make it work.
Because if you want to keep Kelsey Mitchell,
just doesn't add up. And with a heavy heart, Krossoff makes the call. They can't protect Temi. The financial constraints are just too tight. It's a gut-wrenching moment, losing a player who means so much to the team and the city.
She and her team are calculating numbers and attempting to figure out a way to make it work. But in the end, the maths simply doesn't add up. Temi, losing a player who is so important to the club and the city is heartbreaking, and the financial limitations are simply too tight.
The fallout is swift. Fans are questioning Krossoff's judgment, but this goes beyond one team. It highlights a larger issue in the WNBA. Teams are being forced to make tough calls, losing talented players due to salary cap limits.
And if they commit to Temi Fagbenle, you're giving up 3/4 of a max.
Fans of the fallout is swift are doubting Krossoff's judgment.
Still,
but this
the story isn't
more
over.
Than just
While
one team.
fans and analysts
it draws
speculate,
attention to a
Krossoff
bigger
seems
problem in the
unfazed,
WNBA,
hinting she has a
where
plan.
teams are having
How will
to make
she fill the
difficult
Temi-sized
decisions.
gap
Due
in
to
the
salary
Fever's
cap
roster?
restrictions,
And what does this mean
talented
for
players
Caitlin Clark's
are being
rookie
lost.
season?
Temi Fagbenle was gone. I stand by this, and this seems to be the prevailing reason, is that they could not afford her.
Krossoff appears unaffected, suggesting she has a plan, but the story isn't finished yet. according to fans and observers.
There are whispers of behind-the-scenes moves, secret negotiations, and a master plan that could change everything. Kroskov's reputation is on the line, but if anyone can turn this into a win, it's her. The Temi Fagbenle trade might be the first move in a series that reshapes the entire league. What do you think comes next?
Might not have been the best fit.
As the dust settled on the Fagbenle trade, the Indiana Fever took to their official Twitter page to share this update.
And a grand scheme that
has
might
been selected by the Golden State Valkyries.
Kroskov's reputation is at stake, but if anybody can make this work,
Caitlin Clark responded to the post, reflecting on how much she would miss
in a
Temi.
string of moves that completely alters the league.
Clark's
After the
Instagram
Bentley
post had
transfer
everyone
was
talking.
finalized,
Experts
the
analyzed
Indiana
every
Fever sent
word,
this update
looking for
on their
hidden
official Twitter
messages or
page.
signs of
What do you
wavering
think will happen
confidence.
next?
But it was the emotional core that really hit home.
In her
Clark's bond
response
with
to the post,
Fagbenle was clear,
Caitlin Clark
going beyond
expressed
just
how much
teammates.
she would miss Temi.
Caitlin Clark is definitely letting it be known she is going to miss Temi in that locker room, but it was clear that Caitlin Clark and Fagbenle had built a strong bond with each other as the season progressed, which was displayed by their on-court chemistry and the kinship they showed when the game
behind the scenes, things were even
Experts
more
discussed
intense.
every
We're hearing
word
about
of
late
Clark's
night
Instagram
calls and
post,
emotional team
searching
meetings.
for subliminal
Clark's private
clues or
conversations with her
indications
teammates
of
tell a
waning
different
confidence.
story from her
But
public
it was the
face.
emotional
Can you
core
believe what
that
she's been
struck
saying?
closest to
Temi
home.
was not only a
Beyond
veteran
merely being
leader for her
colleagues,
teammates, but
Clark
also a
and
mentor to
Bentley had a
Caitlin
strong
Clark. When
friendship.
Clark joined the Indiana
And that's the
Fever
thing
and
when
was
it
new
comes
to the
to Temi, is that
WNBA,
she
Temi quickly
she
took
was
her
the
under
leader
her
of this
wing,
team.
forming
She
a
was
strong bond with the
100% leader
rookie.
of this team. And obviously Caitlin Clark's comment here, love you, Tem, gonna miss you. She was the leader, and especially early on in the season when it was kind of going crazy, you have Temi Fagbenle, who was the
Things
best.
were even more dramatic behind the scenes. We're learning about emotional team meetings and late night calls. Can you believe
hold on,
what Clark
because
has
this
been
story's
saying?
got more
Her
twists
private
coming.
conversations
We're
with
hearing
her
whispers
teammates
of
reveal
something
a
big
different story
brewing behind
than
the
her public
scenes.
persona.
What's
When
Kelly
Caitlin
Krosskov
Clark joined the
planning?
Indiana
And
Fever
how does
and
Clark
was new
fit
to the
into all of
WNBA,
this?
Temi
The
served
Fever's
as both a
season
mentor
just got a
and
whole
an
lot more
experienced team
interesting.
leader for her colleagues.
Think you've seen emotional
Temi
farewells
immediately
before?
took her under her
Temi
wing
Fagbene's
and
goodbye
developed a
video
close
is
relationship
rewriting the
with the
playbook
newcomer.
on player departures.
Tell
It
you,
starts
it's
off
thousands
exactly how
upon
you'd expect,
thousands of
but by the
comments,
end, even the
pretty
toughest
much
critics are reaching
the
for
fans
the
going
tissues.
off about them letting
What did
Temi
Temi
go.
say
And
that's got
like I
the
stated
whole
yesterday,
basketball
man, it was
world
a shock
talking?
in itself that they, to me, that they had let her leave
But wait,
like that.
there's more twist to this tale. There are hints of something significant. Behind the scenes, what is Kelly Krosskov planning? And how does Clark figure into this?
Let's
the Fever
rewind
season
a
has
bit.
become
Temi
much more
Fagbene's
intriguing.
journey with the
You've
Indiana
probably
Fever
seen
has been
heartfelt
nothing
farewells
short of
before,
incredible.
and Temi
She
Fogg's
came in
farewell
as an
video
international
is being
player
rewritten.
and quickly
The
became a
playbook
fan
on player
favorite.
departures
Can you
begins
believe
as you
she
might
averaged
anticipate,
6.4
but by the
points and
conclusion,
4.7
even the
rebounds
most
per
critical
game?
critics
And
are
that's not
crying.
even mentioning
The
her
entire
insane
basketball
50%
world is
shooting
talking about what
accuracy.
Temi
Temi
said.
wasn't just
She got
a
injured in
player,
her first
she was
starting
the
game at
heart
the start
and
of the
soul
year.
of
But
the
like,
Fever.
I'm not joking when I say this. She was better than Aaliyah Boston up to that point. It's not a knock on Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah Boston started off the season not to her standard, but Temi was better.
Let's take a moment to look back at Tami Fagan's journey
Now,
with
here's
the
where it
Indiana
gets really
Fever.
interesting.
She
Temi
joined
drops
as an
this
international
farewell video
player
on
and
Instagram,
immediately
and it's like
won over
nothing
fans.
you've ever seen before.
She averaged
starts off thanking her
6.4 points
teammates
and
and fans, which is
4.7
pretty
rebounds
standard,
per game,
right? But then
and that
she
doesn't
hits us
even
with
include her
this.
incredible 50% shooting accuracy. Tami was more than just a player. She was the Fever's lifeblood.
She say thank you for a great season at Indiana. To my teammates, we had a season of revelations and growth. So proud of all of y'all for preserving. Thank you for lifting me and each other up the noise. Keep going together.
Just
Thank
me?
you
Or does
for
that
the
sound like there's
consistent
more to the
energy
story?
in the fans.
You might be thinking,
Dollar
okay,
solid,
but
very
how are her
grateful,
teammates
very
taking
blessed.
this?
Thank you,
Well, let
Temi.
me
This is
tell
where
you,
things
it's
start to
hitting
get
them
really
hard.
interesting.
Lexi Hall, one of
She
Temi's
begins
former
by
teammates,
thanking her
commented,
teammates and
going to miss
admirers,
you,
which is
Temi.
quite
It's
usual.
clear Temi wasn't
But then
just
she
a player.
surprises us
She was
with
a
this
friend,
farewell
a
video
mentor,
that she
a
posts on
leader.
Instagram.
Temi was the vet of this team. Temi was the player. Temi and Erica Wheeler were the leaders of this team. And to lose one of them, especially, and to potentially lose both of them, you are really trusting the leadership of Caitlin
Now,
Clark
while
and
the
Aaliyah
Fever
Does that
are
sound like
dealing with
there's
this
more to the
loss,
narrative
the Golden
than you may
State
be
Valkyries
thinking?
are celebrating.
Or is
They
it
just
just me?
nabbed a veteran
Well,
presence and defensive
how are her
powerhouse.
teammates
But
handling
you've
this?
got to wonder,
I
at
can
what
assure you
cost?
that it's
The
having a
Valkyries might have gained a
significant impact
star,
on them.
but they've also
One of
stirred up a
Temi's old
hornet's nest
teammates,
of emotions
Lexi
in the
Hall,
league.
said,
Here's the kicker,
"I'm going
though.
to miss
Just
you.
when you think
It's
Temi's
evident,
video is wrapping
Temi,
up, she drops
that
a bombshell
Temi was
that's
more
got
than simply
everyone
a player.
talking. She
She
reveals
was also
something
a
about her
friend,
feelings on the move
mentor,
that
and
no
leader.
one saw coming. I won't spoil it for you, but let's just say it's making fans question everything they thought they knew about her departure.
Genuinely shocked that Temi Fagbenle was not protected by the Indiana Fever.
Now that the Golden State Valkyries are celebrating their victory over the Fever, you have to wonder at what cost they may have gained a star.
But hold on, because
However,
this story isn't over yet. Just as the dust starts to settle, we're hearing whispers of a new twist.
Just when you think
what could
Tam's
it be?
video
Is there more to Temi's trade than meets the eye?
Or
is Kelly Kroskoff about to pull off another mind-blowing move? One thing's for sure, this isn't your average player trade. It's a game changer that's reshaping the entire WNBA landscape. And trust me, you're going to want to stay tuned for what happens next.
There's always players that probably end seasons that wish it would have gone better for them, or they have different views. I'm not going to tell you I know exactly.
But wait, this story isn't finished yet.
Kelly Kroskoff's decision to trade Temi Fagbenle has sent shockwaves through the WNBA.
Could it be that Kelly
Fans are stunned,
to make
and everyone's wondering what's going
move?
on behind the
or
scenes.
Is there more to his
Kroskoff making a
than
huge
meets the eye?
mistake, or does
there
she
is
have
little
a
doubt
master
that this
plan?
is not your typical
Inside
player
Kroskoff's
deal.
office,
Rather,
the pressure
it is
is
a game
intense.
changer
She's
that is
surrounded by
completely
stats and
altering
strategy
the WNBA
diagrams,
landscape.
facing tough questions from the
promise you that you want to keep an eye on what
Despite the strain, there's a glint of determination in her
Like you can take, for example, let's just say an Ariel Atkins. If you want to trade for an Ariel Atkins, it means
they're looking at salary caps,
you can
free
take
agents,
the contract.
and
Like there are
potential
teams
trades.
that will have quote-unquote
Some think
untradeable
Kroskoff's
contracts,
lost her
and by getting rid of
touch, but
Temi,
others
it
hint
probably
at a
allows you
bigger
to take
plan.
on one of them who's a player that's better than Temi. The problem with Temi is you're probably going to have to pay her like she's a starter and she's going to be a bench player, and you don't have the luxury.
WNBA fans are in disbelief over Kelly Kroskoff's decision to move Temi Fagbenle, and everyone is asking what's going on behind the scenes. Is Kroskoff making a big mistake, or does she have a grand plan? Inside Kroskoff's office, she faces difficult questions from the Fever's management while surrounded by statistics
takes a
and
mysterious
strategy
phone
diagrams.
call, and when she returns,
Despite the pressure,
there's a subtle smile
there is
on
a
her
glimmer
face.
of resolve
What's
in her
that
eyes
about?
as analysts
Finally,
work
Kroskoff
nonstop
reveals
to
her
determine
vision for the
strategy.
Fever's future.
They are
She talks
examining
about
salary
financial
caps,
flexibility,
free
building
agents,
around
and
Caitlin
possible
Clark,
trades.
and a long-term
While some
strategy
believe
for
Kroskoff
success.
has
It's
lost her
bold,
charm,
and you can see the
others allude
skeptics
to a
starting to
larger
come
scheme.
around.
You want to keep Kelsey Mitchell and offer her to Supermax, and you want to bring in a Satu, have to get rid of Temi, even if it's getting rid of Nalissa Smith. Unfortunately, if you want to make that deal, which I think a lot of people do want the Fever to do, they want the Fever to go and get Satu Sablik. But the reality of the situation is that you cannot have Satu if you keep Temi.
But there's still a piece missing from this puzzle. How will Kroskoff's plan play out on the court? Who's going to step up in Temi's absence? And how will this affect Caitlin Clark's development?
Finally,
one thing's for sure, Kroskoff isn't done making moves. The WNBA landscape is changing fast, and the Fever are right at the center of it all. What do you think? Has Kroskoff made a genius move or a massive mistake? How will you look at trades and drafts differently after this? The dust has settled, but the WNBA will never be the same. Temi Fagbene's move to Golden State has shaken things up big time.
However, the truth is that maintaining Temi
is this the end of team loyalty? Well,
but there is
it's
still
not
a
that
puzzle
simple.
piece
This
lacking.
trade shows us how the business side of basketball can clash with fan emotions. It's a wake-up call for all of us.
And how will this impact Caitlin Clark's growth? There is no doubt that Kroskoff is still making movements. Do you believe Kroskoff made a brilliant decision or a huge mistake?
Now you might be wondering,
the
what does this
WNBA
mean for
environment
future drafts
is changing
and trades?
quickly,
Let me
and
tell you,
Fever
it's going
is
to
at the
change
center of it all.
everything. Players might start looking out for themselves more, knowing they could be traded at any moment.
The WNBA
fans,
will never be the same.
Twice before getting
but the
too
dust
attached
has
to
settled.
a player. But
Things
here's
have been
where it gets really
drastically
interesting.
upended by
Kelly
Bond's
Kroskoff's
transfer
master
to Golden
plan
State.
could be a game changer.
You may be wondering
if
Team
other
Allegiance
teams
is
might
over,
start
but it's not
copying
that
the
easy.
Fever's strategy.
This
Can you
deal serves
imagine a
as a
league
warning
where
to
every
all of
team
us
is
about
making
how the
bold
commercial
moves like
side of
this?
basketball
So the
may
ball's in
clash
your
with
court
fan
now.
sentiment.
How are you going to look
You
at
may be
trades and
wondering what
drafts
this
from
means
here
for
on
upcoming
out? Are
drafts
you going to
and
get
trades.
upset when your
And I can
favorite
assure
player
you that it
leaves,
will
or are you
completely
going to
alter
try
the
to see the
landscape.
bigger picture?
Players
One
may
thing's
begin
for
to watch
sure,
out for
the
themselves more
WNBA
because
is
they know
entering
they
a
could be
new
traded
era,
at
and
any
we're
time.
all along for the
And
ride.
fans may reconsider becoming overly attached to a player, but this is where things get really interesting. If Kelly Kroskoff's master plan proves successful, other teams may begin to adopt the Fever strategy. Can you picture a league where all the teams are making audacious moves like this? Putting the ball in your court? How will you view trades and drafts going forward? Will you be upset when your favorite player departs? Or will you try to see the wider picture? We're all on board for the journey as the WNBA enters a new era. That much is certain.